And this segment is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sports booking app. Not only is it safe, it's secure, and most importantly, Deke, it's reliable. We love reliability, baby.
No, you can't beat it.
You can't beat that. You know what else you can't beat?
What?
Free deposit bonus money. What if I were to tell you that if you use the promo code, you could receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money? Would you like that?
So you mean I get to bet on sports, watch the games, be entertained, and maybe win some money?
Absolutely.
Plus get more money?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, all you would need to do is this though, right? Just gotta type in this promo code. For all my first time users, you know the promo code. Do you know that one?
I do. I've said it a couple times on these. It's Moats.
That's
my memory. My memory's pretty decent.
That's the promo code. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you use the promo code Moats, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So what are you waiting for? Download the app. My first time users, use the promo code, and let's get an opportunity to make some money. I mean, well, we know the obvious. We know Josh Allen. We talked about him a little bit, obviously, early on. He's having an MVP caliber season as well. He's put up the gaudy numbers. He's had the clutch performances, the come from behind performances. The biggest thing with him, man, he's improved so much with his accuracy. I mean, obviously, we've highlighted that a lot with some of the breakdowns and things like that. But the thing with Josh, man, he's gonna extend plays. You just have to catch him when he's doing too much hero ball. Right now, when he sits in the pocket, man, he has a rocket arm. Strongest arm in the league. It's not a debate from my standpoint. Now, we're not talking about the most accurate or the most prolific or the most acrobatic or the prettiest. But in terms of just sheer power, he can be flat-footed.
But he's built that touch this year, though.
Absolutely. He definitely has. So to me, I look at it like this, man. The games that he struggled are the games where he's been trying to do too much. Once he makes that first guy miss, right? Because the O-line for the Bills has struggled a lot this year. They consistently have struggled ever since the beginning of the year. I want to say their right tackle, Cody Ford, went down. And from there, Darrell Williams had to come in. Now, he's played in Carolina for a little while, but now up in Buffalo, he hasn't been as consistent, and he has been the weakest part of that offensive line. To me, whenever I see Josh making a guy miss, it's typically been off of him. But from there, sometimes you're looking like, hey, just throw the ball away or just run the ball. And because of him being able to make some of these plays downfield that he's been able to do at a high clip this year, he forces the ball sometimes. And we've seen teams been able to turn him over from that standpoint. So to me, I think that's the biggest thing right now. Because when you talk about Stephon Diggs is a top level receiver. I mean, I think right now he's fourth in the league in receiving yards right now, but he's been just prolific since coming to Buffalo. Him and Josh have connected really well. Cole Beasley is another guy for that Bills offense that has been very consistent. Now they're down John Brown, which is a huge boost for us defensively because John gave us problems last year and he has been very productive this year when he was healthy. So him being down is going to be a huge boost. But even their running backs
is good though.
Absolutely, the rookie
that's
Gabriel
been crazy.
Davis,
like,
man, yes,
I clip up those top plays and stuff for you. You've sent me quite a few with him, and he is almost like I think he has over 500 yards this year for a rookie. That's not bad at all.
Absolutely, and the thing is, he doesn't get talked about nowhere near as much because obviously when you got a class that has a Chase Claypool, Justin Jefferson, a CeeDee Lamb, and all these other marquee names, you don't really talk about Gabriel Davis. When you watch him on tape, man, he's a very productive player, short-handed, and has produced some very big plays for that Bills offense. So when you talk about their skill players, and we haven't even talked about the running backs, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, they've been effective also, man, with some of their timely runs, but then more so out the backfield catching the ball too, man. Some of the screen stuff they like to do. They are very talented at the skill position standpoint. That's why I say they're very similar to us. They're skill position players. They can go with the best of them. It's not going to be too many stadiums they walk in where they don't feel they have the goods offensively. But the reason why I'm very confident in the Steelers in this matchup is we know we excel on defense when we can create pressure, when we can create havoc. And the thing that the Bills have struggled with is keeping Josh clean. Like I said, he makes a good amount of guys miss, and that's why you won't see the crazy amount of sack numbers. But when you watch him for 4 quarters in these games, he does so much to get out of the pocket in terms of making this guy miss, stepping up, dodging that guy. The guy's pulling on it. Like I said, it looks like vintage Ben. It looks like young Ben in terms of just multiple guys on him and him being able to make plays. The Steelers specialize in that, though. The Steelers, I mean, we haven't seen too many situations where the Steelers have pressure and don't get the quarterback down. We don't see a lot of that, even against Lamar Jackson, who was probably the most dynamic in terms of athletic ability, make you miss ability. even he was contained when we played him earlier in the season. So when
Deshaun Watson, and we talked about Carson Wentz, but he's just gone on a downward slide from that point, man.
It's been bad.
He was a little bit better for our game, at least.
Yes, it is bad now. Golly. But hey, we're going to get to see Jalen Hurts in a full-time capacity, so that's going to be interesting, bro.
It was time. It was time. At least try something new.
Dude, it was rough, man. But when we're talking about with that O-line for the Bills, though, like I said, they have struggled. And I do think that, man, the Steelers, they consistently, when they create pressure, especially their ability to do it with their front four, they get home. When those guys are back there, they're not missing a lot of sacks. They're not going to allow quarterbacks to just throw them off. So that, to me, is why I'm excited, because I know when Josh has been pressured consistently, he has struggled. But when he's been able to make that wave miss, he will kill you. So to me, that's why I'm excited, because I know TJ Watt, how many sacks have we seen TJ miss? TJ don't miss sacks. Tua doesn't miss sacks like
just
that.
Sucks, no bud.
That's the one I'm worried about. But this is the reason why I'm not as concerned. TJ plays what? He's going to be on the left side, right? So he's going up against the right tackle, who we just highlighted as the weakest part of that offense, Darrell Williams. TJ has to dominate that matchup. Anytime they're dropping back to pass, that has to be the one where you're dominating. Because on the other side, Deion Dawkins, he's been playing extremely well. He got rewarded with a big time contract right before the season started. So for Alex Highsmith, it's going to be good to see a test for him to see how he can play against a better upper echelon tackle. But I'm not expecting a lot from him as it pertains to the pass rushing element. I think he'll do well, but I don't expect him to light it up like I'm expecting from TJ. I'm not expecting what I would expect from Bud Dupree from Alex Highsmith this week. I feel like that can come, but this is going to be his second start. You have to taper your expectations a little bit, because otherwise you're going to come out here and you're going to feel very disappointed in his performance potentially. And I just don't think that that's fair for him at this particular stage in his career.
Yeah. I'm with you, dude. I mean, that's the obvious thing, is like just make Josh Allen uncomfortable. The thing is, though, I got to give him props, because in that 49ers game and some of the games that I was kind of watching, man, like, one, he's actually pretty good if just as a drop back passer now. Like, he could drop back and he could find a little slant over the middle, a little drag route or something. He's able to hit that. And then two, if he drops back and he's able to feel the pressure, depending, like in that 49ers game, it was weird because they kind of pressured him, but not really, because he looked actually really comfortable in the pocket and like moving around where he sensed some pressure. It wasn't anything where he had to completely go outside the pocket or dodge tackles or anything like that. So that was impressive to me. But then also he's able to do that where if a guy's about to tackle him and it's like real pressure, he can get out of that and like make a really good throw. Yeah. The thing that I guess the thing that my question is about is just general decision making, because there were some times where I saw him just maybe make some bad throws, even though the pressure wasn't completely on him. Is there anything that you see from defenses? Is it zone? Is it man that kind of throw him off from that standpoint?
That's the funny part. Honestly, I've seen him light up man and zone. The problem, I feel like with him right now, he's getting to that stage where it's becoming easy for him. I mean, I've showed you some of the clips where he's literally just standing there at a flat foot standstill, because he knows if a rush gets to me, I'm good enough to make this guy miss. I'm strong enough to get him off me. And in turn, when he's looking downfield, because he's been able to put the ball in very tight windows, we've talked about, even with Ben sometimes, right? We say, man, even though he can make that throw, if we're doing this 10 times, he might only make that throw 3 times where it works out. For Josh, he's starting to understand that. And it's still taking a little bit more time for him to fully understand that, hey, just because I can make this throw maybe once or twice, that I shouldn't be doing this 10 times because it's not going to work out well for me. I feel like that's the stage he's in. And obviously it's going to take time to get out of that, because it's more so you have to understand that even though you have elite level confidence in yourself, those guys are still professionals. You can't disrespect them that much and expect not to get burnt eventually. So to me, that's been his biggest issue when you talk about some of those throws down the field where, like you said, there's no pressure. He's just looking down. He's like, I can make this throw. I've done it before. And then it's like, well, dude, that's a tough throw to make. Like, take this higher percentage throw, where you can make this throw 10 times and 9 of these times is going to be a completion. That's what he has to get better at. But man or zone, teams don't want to play man against him because of his running ability. Even though he's still been pass first, he can break your back. They still have design runs with him. And honestly, some of his turnovers have come from him just fumbling the ball after a 15, 20-yard gain, solely based on guys being in man coverage, backs turning, he just takes off. So that's why you don't want to man coverage him. But then zone-wise, Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs have done such great jobs of finding the soft spots that puts you in a bind as well. If he's just able to sit back there and just look and find the holes, he picks you apart that way. So that's why it's more so the teams that have been successful have just capitalized on those moments where he makes a mistake. If he puts the ball on the ground, don't allow him to get it back. You have to recover it. If he has one of those throws where he's forcing it somewhere because he just believes he can make that throw, those are the plays you have to capitalize. The teams that have capitalized on those moments have made that Bills offense struggle. If they don't capitalize on those moments, this offense can move the ball up and down the field with the best of them. That's just how they are right now. It's crazy to see them grow to this stage, especially after last year, because last year they were flirting with that, but it wasn't consistent. You would see it maybe 1 or 2 games, but then it would disappear. They have been able to put that together for a large portion of the season this year, which has been one of the biggest reasons why they've been so successful.
Yeah. What are you thinking we talk about their talent then with the running backs, receiver position? I'm thinking more or less the running back here too, with the linebackers now.
That's gonna be the
are we bringing in Marcus Allen? You think we bring in Brooks here?
Well, this is the part that I'm going to be excited to see. Obviously, Vince Williams is healthy. He's been their guy. We're anticipating Avery Williamson having a large role this week. Now, even though Coach Tomlin has said that he's leaving the light on for Spillane could be available. All reports are showing that Spillane is more than likely going to be out for some time. Not surgical, but it's going to take some time. So I want to see what's their trust level in Vince Williams and Avery Williamson. Are they going to allow those two guys? Because the thing is this, when you look at the Bills from their bigger body personnel, right, their running backs and tight ends, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, they provide some issues. At the tight end position, though, Dawson Knox, he's a decent receiving tight end, but he's not going to scare you, right?
Nothing better than Logan Thomas.
Right.
Although Logan Thomas burned us, but
the thing was this, like, they're good. If you allow these guys to run free, can they capitalize? Without a doubt. Are they going to catch the ball? Without a doubt. But they're not the
better than some of the
type,
some
right?
of the other tight ends we played
type.
this year.
And that's what we're alluding to. So I'm like, can Vince and Avery hold up against those guys? I personally think that they can. And the reason why I said it's only one, because Lee Smith, and that's my dog. I mean, we played up in Buffalo a couple of years. He's more so a glorified extra lineman. Even though he's a tight end, he was a tight end number. He's a tackle.
He's been in the league for a minute then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Is he like Udonis Haslam up there?
Basically, but the thing is, it's like they use him solely to block. So when he comes on the field, he's not running a route. And the thing is, he's had some receiving touchdowns because of the trickeration. It's like, we're not expecting this guy to run a route. Okay. And then he literally will slip out on the goal line and turn around and catch a pass. That's the extent of his offensive, his passing ability, pass catching ability. Other than that, though, he's an elite level blocker. So I do anticipate TJ seeing some of him, in terms of they're not going to leave Darrell Williams over there for 4 quarters and just have Darrell try to hold up against TJ. They are going to have Lee Smith over there, because that is what Lee does. Lee is an irritant. Think of a Dennis Rodman type, right? Lee is going to do all the extra stuff, man. The whistle blew. He's going to give you the extra 2 shoves just to get you a little irritated. He's going to bump you. He's going to untie your strings if you're in the power. He's that type of guy. But that's what they like with him, because that helps them from a protection standpoint. It helps them largely in the run game standpoint, but it's a sign, it's a telltale. If he's out there, we're only worried about these receivers and that running back. He doesn't give you anything from a receiving standpoint, especially in the open field. Goal line, like I said, it's more, you got to think of him like an extra lineman. Could Gerald Hawkins run a route? Sure. But we're not losing sleep over him running that route. That's all I'm saying. Whereas when he's not on the field and Dawson Knox is, well, now okay, they're thinking about pass heavy right now. The run, we're not even thinking about a run. No Lee out there, we're not thinking about that. So they do tip their hand with some of those tendencies. So knowing that, I do think that Avery and Vince will be able to be a lot more prepared for that. If they see Lee out there and it's Zach Moss, okay, we need to make sure we're focusing on Zach. We're not worried about Lee right now. If Devin's out there, same concept. And I think that's going to be how they handle that. But I don't necessarily want to go the route of, all right, let's put Marcus Allen in there. Let's go let's go Brooks, because when you start putting smaller guys in there, the Bills are not afraid to run that ball. And if they feel like they can have success running, they will run it. They've had games where they've said, man, you know what? We're having success running the ball. Just keep doing it. And if you can't stop it, it's a bad feeling, but they will keep doing that thing until you find something that you can do different about that. So that's why I don't necessarily want to go small ball against them right now.
Okay, that works. Hopefully, well, we'll see about Hayden. I'm assuming he's going to be out.
I am too, bro, especially when it happened in the fourth quarter. That's the problem. If it was early in the game, I'm like, all right, maybe, it was early on in the night, we're all right, but you talking about it being Monday night in the fourth quarter, and now we're talking about playing on Sunday. I'm like, that's a quick turnaround.
But like
man.
you
That
said, Justin Lane, if you were impressed by him last game, do you think we can at least get 90% of what Joe Hayden is with Justin Lane? 85?
That's asking. This is the only reason why I don't want to say a percentage like that, because athletically, Justin can do some really good things. Obviously, he's a taller cornerback, right? So he's going to give you some different benefits that Joe necessarily doesn't have. But the reason why I don't want to say 80 or 90% is because if we're just speaking physical attributes, sure. But what you can't account for is the mental. What Joe brings from a mental standpoint, the amount of ball that he's seen, the route combinations. I mean, I take it back 2 weeks to the pick six that he had against RG3. Man, you talk about textbook cover 2 corner by Joe Hayden. Man, reroute on number 1 receiver, sink a second, eyes on number 2. Okay, he sees the outbreaking route before RG3 even releases the ball. He's already breaking. Justin isn't at that stage just yet. Justin is in the stage of,
we're trying to get by.
What's my assignment? All right, I'm doing my job. I'm not trying to see this, and this. I'm doing my job. It says reroute this guy, I'm rerouting that guy. So that is why I don't want to put a percentage of 80 or 90, because then it's going to give people a false sense of what he is capable of. Physically, sure, but mentally, there's going to be a major difference between the two guys.
It'd really suck if Nelson's out, but they're talking about him playing.
Yeah,
right?
he did practice yesterday, so that was a positive. Okay. Now, we don't know in terms of the capacity. I want to say, I believe he was full, but I'm not 100% sure on it. But he did at least practice. So to me, that is a positive sign. Now, today and tomorrow are going to tell us it's going to tell us a lot more, because typically when a guy is ruled out, that first practice back is 50-50. He might come out there and do the whole thing and be fine. He might come out there and do the whole practice and then be, banged up again the next day and so forth. So you never really know how they're going to respond. So that's what we're just waiting to see. All right, once the practice report comes out, what do they say about him? And as the week progresses, we'll know a lot more. But if him and Joe were out, that could be a major issue. Yeah. That could present some big time problems, because Cam Sutton, we said he's more built for the interior. He's more built for a nickel corner, a slot corner, versus being out there on the perimeter with some of the bigger body receivers. Yeah,
and we've seen, like Cam Sutton, Justin Lane last week, them in some big spots play pretty well. Mm-hmm. It's just, we talked about Buffalo receivers, though. They do have a good unit there. Yeah. So this might be just a little bit different from that aspect. But yeah, dude, it's going to be a good game, man. I do think it comes down to a lot of stuff that we talked about way back in the beginning. We just got 2 really good teams here.
Yeah,
we got 2 really good teams.
I'm excited. You talk about just good on good in all 3 phases.